grew up playing the basketball with the boys, so like it's always been physical and feisty, and like that's what it is. You got to find a way to.
Nobody saw this coming. Caitlin Clark, the biggest name women's basketball has ever produced, just walked away, and nobody can explain why. Fans are stunned. Teammates look shattered. And the WNBA, completely silent. In that silence, every kind of rumor is spreading. Did something happen behind closed doors between Clark and league officials? Was there an injury nobody's talking about? Or is this something so explosive the league refuses to say a single word? Sophie Cunningham's voice cracked on camera. Lexi Hull couldn't hold back tears. The reporters caught every second of it. And the arena, the one that used to roar every time Clark touched the ball, suddenly felt empty and cold. What could possibly make a superstar disappear like this? Stick around, because the answers are about to shake the entire league. Let's start from the beginning. Just days ago, Caitlin Clark was doing what she always does, leading her team in assists, dropping big point totals, and dominating every headline in the sport. She wasn't injured. She wasn't tired. She wasn't skipping practice. This was the player who single-handedly pulled in a brand new wave of fans, packed arenas from coast to coast, and sent TV ratings through the roof. And then, just like that, she was gone. No statement, no warning, no explanation, just silence. And that silence is exactly what set off a wildfire of speculation. Within minutes, theories were everywhere. Some people whispered about load management, a term teams love to use when they're really covering up something bigger. Others hinted at some kind of disciplinary issue, but none of it added up. Clark hadn't broken any rules. She hadn't disrespected a single teammate. On the court and off it, she was doing everything right. So this didn't look like a benching. It looked like something else entirely, something that felt more like a punishment than a decision. That's when insiders started talking. According to people close to the league, tension had been quietly building between Clark and some of the higher-ups for a while now. And it wasn't just about her scoring. It was about her voice. Every post-game interview she gave turned into a headline. Every clip of her speaking her mind spread across social media within hours. She simply wasn't playing the game the way stars are usually told to play it, staying quiet, staying neutral, staying on message. And apparently, that didn't sit well with everyone at the top. One rumor in particular seems to have lit the fuse. Word is, Clark spoke up in a private meeting and called out the league's marketing approach, saying it felt disconnected from the very fans she believed she represented. She didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't back down. And according to people in that room, the moment didn't go over well at all. Within 48 hours, her minutes started shrinking. By 72 hours, she was completely off the floor. And then came the part nobody expected: total silence. No interviews. No statements. No press conferences. One of the brightest stars in the sport vanished like someone had flipped a switch. But her fans weren't about to let that happen quietly. Within hours, #WhereIsCaitlin was trending everywhere. Comment sections exploded. TikTok, Instagram, X. Everywhere you looked, people were demanding answers. Thousands of fans wanted the truth, and they weren't going to stop asking. NBA players even joined in, calling the whole situation shady, and some went as far as saying it was disrespectful to the game itself. Every unanswered question just poured more fuel on the fire, and the league's silence only made things worse. This wasn't confusion anymore. It was defiance. And the pressure kept building, until one player decided enough was enough. That player was Sophie Cunningham. And when she spoke, everything changed. Reporters were still digging for scraps of information. Fans were flooding the league's inboxes with anger. And through all of it, the WNBA said nothing. Then Sophie broke the silence herself. She didn't tiptoe around it. She didn't give some safe, rehearsed answer. In what should have been an ordinary post-game interview, she said something that lit up the entire sports world. You don't ignore your biggest star unless you're afraid of how powerful she's become. The room went completely still. Reporters froze. And before the league's PR team could even draft a response, that clip was already everywhere. Podcasts, highlight reels, TikTok, you name it. Fans played it over and over like an anthem. But Sophie wasn't finished. What started as one bold comment turned into a full-on campaign. On her podcast, she went even further, suggesting this had nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with control. She accused the league of caring more about protecting its power than protecting its biggest talent. She said out loud what a lot of people had only been whispering. That Clark's benching felt like a warning to every player. Don't speak too loud, don't shine too bright. And Sophie kept saying it, over and over, in interviews, in team meetings, refusing to back off. She wasn't scared of losing playing time or getting fined. What scared her was watching the league quietly push out one of the greatest talents this generation has seen. And fans responded instantly. Hashtags shifted from anger to action. Stand with Sophie and Free Clark started trending side by side. And what began as one comment had turned into a full movement the league could no longer brush aside. Then came the next twist. Just a day later, Lexi Hull stepped into the storm. She didn't write a long statement. She didn't go on a podcast. She walked straight into the press room after practice, looked into the camera, and said one line that hit harder than any speech could. If they can treat Caitlin Clark like this, what do you think they'll do to the rest of us? The room went cold. No spin, no filter, just the raw truth. And that clip didn't just spread through women's basketball. It jumped into every corner of the sports world. ESPN anchors, YouTube analysts, everyone was asking the same question. What exactly is happening behind the scenes at the WNBA? Lexi wasn't done there either. A few hours later, she posted a black and white photo of herself with Clark, captioned with a single word, loyalty. And that one word set off a wave of speculation. Was she calling out the front office? Was it a message to teammates who felt pressured to stay silent? Nobody knew for sure, but the timing said everything. Reports started leaking out. Insiders claimed Lexi had become one of the loudest voices in the locker room, even confronting coaching staff directly about why the one player consistently selling out arenas had suddenly been benched. And her teammates, reportedly, backed her all the way. What started as locker room rumors quickly became headlines. A team that no longer felt unified, but instead fractured by secrecy. And it wasn't just her team. Word started spreading that players across the league were having their own private conversations, away from cameras, away from officials, sharing the same frustrations. There was pressure to stay quiet, but there was also a growing hunger to finally speak up. Lexi, according to sources, was quietly rallying a group of younger players who were tired of being told to smile, play, and stay silent while their voices got ignored. Then came the tweet that really shook things. Before it got deleted, one message from Lexi spread like wildfire. Stop silencing the people building your legacy if you actually want to leave one. Screenshots were everywhere within the hour. Reddit, TikTok, fan pages, all of it. Some thought it was aimed straight at league executives. Others thought it targeted the media downplaying the whole situation. But one thing was clear. Lexi wasn't just reacting anymore. She was taking a stand against the silence itself. Now Sophie and Lexi were standing together, both willing to risk everything to expose what they believed was happening behind closed doors. And their defiance had turned a quiet scandal into a full-blown uprising. And that's when the fans took over completely. What had been anger turned into an all-out online movement. One too loud for the league to ignore any longer. Every platform lit up at once. Hashtags like hashtag Stop Silencing Stars, hashtag Free Caitlin, and hashtag Justice for Clark flooded timelines. And because these were coming straight from the fans who actually buy the tickets and watch the games, they carried more weight than any official statement ever could. The league's own social pages got buried in angry comments, no matter what they posted. Sports forums that were usually about stats and strategy turned into full-blown investigations. Fans started pulling old game footage, breaking down minutes played, building timelines the league refused to explain. Some clips showed Clark getting shoved hard on drives with no whistle. Others pointed out how her minutes had quietly dropped while her performance stayed just as strong. And side-by-side comparisons showed something even more telling. Her coverage on the league's own social channels had noticeably faded while other players got pushed to the front. This wasn't about one bench player anymore. It had become a full public trial of the league's credibility. Then came the moment that should have calmed everyone down, and instead made things so much worse. After almost 2 full days of silence, the league finally released a statement. And it was exactly what nobody wanted to hear. Cold, corporate, and completely disconnected from what was actually happening. Clark's name wasn't even mentioned. There was no acknowledgement of the growing controversy or the players speaking out. Just vague talk about a rotation decision and a request for fans to trust the process. The backlash was instant. Reporters tore the statement apart. Players rolled their eyes publicly. and fans, already furious, saw it as proof of everything they'd suspected. This wasn't transparency. It looked like a cover-up. And in 2026, with fans holding footage, timestamps, and side-by-side comparisons, that kind of vague statement wasn't going to work. It only made the story bigger. Sophie responded first, a single eye-roll emoji, no caption needed. It got tens of thousands of likes within minutes. Lexi followed with a caption reading, "So we're pretending this is normal now," attached to a clip of the league's statement. Even former players chimed in, one saying plainly that you don't erase an MVP candidate without a real reason. And that something about this whole situation just didn't add up. And the fallout was immediate. Jersey sales that had been record-breaking just weeks earlier crashed overnight. Ticket refund requests spiked in cities where fans had specifically bought seats to watch Clark. Behind the scenes, things kept getting worse. Reports surfaced that at least 2 major sponsors had quietly reached out to league executives demanding answers before moving forward with upcoming campaigns. That's corporate language for a serious threat. Fix this, or we walk. But instead of addressing it head-on, the league doubled down on controlled messaging, offering no apology and no real answers. And that's when something bigger started happening. Locker rooms across the league split into sides. Conversations that used to be about game plans turned into quiet arguments about loyalty and truth. Some players stayed silent out of fear. Others were done staying quiet. And right in the middle of it all stood Sophie and Lexi, refusing to back down. Then they did something even bigger. Sitting side by side for a live interview, they said what nobody else was willing to say out loud. Sophie looked straight into the camera and said no one is safe if they can treat the player who built this league like this. Lexi followed with 4 words that hit just as hard. "We've stayed quiet enough." That interview spread everywhere within minutes. Commentators called it the most honest moment in league history. Other players started reposting it. Hashtags like #PlayersOverPolitics and #SaveWomen'sBasketball exploded across every platform. This was no longer just about one player. It had become a full reckoning for the entire league. So here's the real question. Has women's basketball just hit a turning point that changes everything? Or is this only the beginning of something even bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next. Because this story is far from over.